Hello everyone, welcome back to our Chilli Discussion. Now, this is a place whereby we discuss spicy stories that we take from Reddit or any current spicy topics and combine them with psychological knowledge while having a cozy and chill vibe. So if you guys have suggestions on topics that we should discuss, comment below and submit your stories anonymously in the form in the description, and remember to click subscribe and share out our podcast. Now today I'm joined again with Maya. Okay. So I think you all know Maya pretty well, but then there is another side of Maya that probably you all should know. So Maya, would you want to introduce yourself to our audience about yourself that is related to our topic today?
So I'm introducing the topic as well. Okay. Hi, I'm Maya. I guess age is very important here actually. So I'm 22 in this video. And
In this video?
Because I don't know when you're going to watch this video. But for also future me purposes to look back, you know. Yeah. So today's topic is something I'm already like a bit nervous to talk about this topic.
Spicy.
As you can, it's not a bit, actually very spicy. Because I'm kind of nervous about it. Getting nervous jitters. Might even lead to anxiousness. But yeah, in relation to this topic, I'm not going to reveal it immediately, but I'll just say I came from a all-girls school since I was 7 till I was 12.
Okay.
So basically it was primary school, all-girls school. Yeah, in relation to this topic, it's about feminism. So it's about women, being a woman, what it is like being a woman, and how it relates to my story is more so the exposure of like growing up with just all girls, and also the very contrasting like lifestyle, because I have 2 older brothers. Yeah.
Okay.
And I have one older brother who's like 2 years from me. So we're close. But for some reason, I developed a fear of men.
Okay.
Yeah, that's leave it from that for now. In relation to this topic, yeah. So when I was preparing for it, I was like, well, I don't want to get too personal and don't want to like put too much information, I guess.
It's totally fine. You see, probably we are going to have that's why we call it Chilli Discussion, you see. It's a discussion.
Yeah. Get that.
Alright, so that's about Maya. So she came from all-girls school, and that's why I asked her to discuss about feminism. And today we're going to target more on modern feminism in our podcast today. Now, Maya, since you said that you're, for a person from all-girls school for your primary life, so do you know what feminism is?
More so, I know feminism from social media. Unfortunately, I'm not sure much about the state of like the nation's feminism. As in like, I don't see national news about feminism. I only see like social media about like cases of like the feminist movement, of how they are trying to get equal rights for women in terms of like equal pay, equal opportunities for employment.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what I know.
So when you say you get to know about feminism from social media, is it the #MeToo program that is going on?
No. I see it's a case-by-case thing. As in like, I guess people would understand what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but assault, blank assault cases on Twitter, or just popping up on my timeline, and like people discuss about feminism there, or it could also be just a random post about misogyny and people bring up feminism or sexism.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a secondary topic to what people are discuss, like what the issue is, you know?
Yeah, understood. I think, you know what, women are not really treated equally for the past, how do we put it? Decades, maybe centuries.
Centuries.
Yeah. And I think the recent news that a lot of us got shocked is about a doctor that got raped. Yeah. And it's not just rape, but gang rape. And leaving the private part destroyed. According to the news, that's what they wrote, that the private part was totally damaged. So it is a gang rape thing that has been going on, and hence, you know, I'm a little bit moved by this kind of behavior, this kind of
Moved.
Yeah. When I say moved, it's more like I wanted to know more about feminism after
Understandable.
after seeing such news.
Yeah.
And it is not the end, because every time after one of these cases happen, people will start the uproar and then it will go down.
Yeah.
And then everybody live their life happily ever after.
That's the recency bias.
Yeah.
Right?
And then after that, a new thing come out. A
that's
lot of
the-
people come
yeah,
out. They're
the
like,
recent
okay,
thing.
we're going to fight for this, we're going to fight for that. And then after that, after 2 to 3 months, no news. Probably the person got convicted, sent to the jail, rot in hell, and then things go on as usual. So it is something that I'm curious about, because it has been happening for so many centuries. Yeah. And I say centuries, totally measured by the year that we are in 2024. Of course, we all know that human beings have lived beyond 2024 years. And probably before that, it's also the same. We are not too sure. Yeah? But I think the most that happened would be during war, and of how the pro-feminists and the anti-feminists are actually arguing all over the media and social media, and it got really bad.
Yeah, that's how I learned about it, you know.
Yeah, oh, that's how you learn about
That's
it.
usually how it goes. I guess it's more like the feminists trying to go against the anti-feminists. That's where I learned about what it was.
I see. Yeah, so actually, right, from your understanding of feminism, what do you think is the initial push for this movement?
What do I think? It's probably just equality, you know?
Equality.
Yeah, I remember people discussing mostly about employment, especially, or like opportunity for leadership, because of, you know, stereotypes against women being like weak. So like they are fighting for the rights to be able to be seen as more than just that. Their stereotypes.
Yeah.
And then how it started. It could also be like just insecure men. As in like what I mean by that. Because like when women start, you know, getting out there with the feminists, I mean, this is more the modern feminism, I guess. They're like putting out their opinions out there even more. And like they're more opinionated. They are not afraid of standing up for their rights. So in retaliation, the opposite gender feels like, I don't know, intimidated, insecure, yeah.
Okay.
And then that discourse goes back, like they are defending themselves in a way because of the insecurity or whatever. And then the feminists grow even stronger because of that backlash. Yeah.
Okay. So you got it right. Actually, it's for equality. And let me just start with this. So the initial purpose of feminism is the right to vote, equal chances of getting education, and equal rights to live. As compared to now, it is more towards the similar pay, opportunity for higher ranks, as well as some other rights. For example, what we call it maternity leave and extended leave and things like that.
Can we also talk about the abortion rights as well? Right?
Yeah. There are the pro-choice or pro-life. Yeah, those are the things that are happening right now for feminism move. Yeah. So the issue with the modern feminism actually comes from this term called glass ceiling.
Yeah, I
You heard about
it's
it?
everywhere. I'm
everywhere.
a psychology student. I hear this so often,
Okay.
especially in like universities. They had like those where every university student had to take. It was a leadership skills course. Yeah, and they were talking about like organization dynamics. It was also in industrial organizational psychology as
Yep.
well, like glass ceiling. Basically, being able to see the position but not being able to achieve it.
Yep.
Which is a lot of what women are going through.
So with this glass ceiling comes the modern feminism move. And a lot of people are literally asking about the equal opportunities for a lot of things. Now, in this move, there are also what we call the opposite side of it. That actually saying after the discrimination and also the stereotypes of how women is, emotional.
Yeah, it's like the whole like we can't get high positions because we're emotional or we're too sensitive.
Yeah.
We're not tough enough for
Yeah.
the position. Yeah.
And hence there are a lot of the misunderstanding that happen. Yeah. And I also would actually top up a little bit about how most religious or cultural background looking women as a secondary standard.
I talking about culture. I had a cross-cultural psychology subject. My group had to write about sun preference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it relates to this topic. So what sun preference means, like certain cultures actually prefer sons, meaning like they do a lot of things to get sons, and then they like ignore and even like get rid of.
Yeah. Literally, they bury daughters
Girls,
alive.
yes.
Yep.
So yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that actually in today's society, in modern era, we still have cultural thing going on, as well as from religion of all aspects, that women are the second class that need to listen to their husband, and the husband is always the first class. The what we call ketua keluarga,
The head of
the family is always men. Yeah, women is always seen as second class, and women cannot be the person holding power, not just in a country, in an office or a company, but even in families, that they cannot hold leadership power. Yep. So let's go into the advertisement for a while.
Okay.
Before we talk about how media affect people's belief. And we'll be back right after the advertisement. Welcome back. So, hope you enjoy our advertisement. Yeah, we need to thank our advertisers for keeping us going in our podcast. Now, media's effect on people's belief. This is something that I would really love to discuss for the longest time. Yes, you can see how burning it is in me. I do notice one thing that is happening in the media. As a Marvel fan, okay, not just Marvel, as a superhero fan, I notice that the current trend, people move everything to female. Did you see that trend coming?
Yeah, I'm a big Marvel fan too. And I've seen it. I watched the movies. I saw the controversy. I saw all the arguments as well. I'm a regular Twitter user, so it's always there. Sorry, X. My bad.
No worries. Because I got no idea. If you are a Marvel fan, I think you would have seen this scene in Endgame.
Oh, that infamous scene.
where all the females come together and trying to fight Thanos, men, and all the female are there. I don't understand, why do we need to set a clear distinction?
I mean, it's more of like a activism or a sense of people call it virtue signaling, right? Like, this is women.
But then you see, Endgame is being written by men. And they include this scene in it's totally alright for me.
Yeah, it's alright.
Now, but then after Endgame, we have a lot of Marvel series coming up. Like the female version of Hulk, She-Hulk. We have a lot of other female people taking over. For example, Hawkeye, the daughter is taking over. And a lot of other characters coming out with female version.
The Thor movie too.
Thor, Love and Thunder, right? But I don't understand why the movies that are being written by females
By male?
are worse than male.
I mean, that's nothing to do with gender. I think that's just the individual creative.
I have no idea because She-Hulk was being written by a female scriptwriter. But the public is literally criticizing that why She-Hulk keep on need to dance with the S in front and things like that. It got cancelled off season 2. Like literally when it was written by male, the scripts, they are more respected in a way. I do not know. What do you think about it?
I think creativity is not gendered. And for anyone to say that it's blaming on like, why is the, again, I like to use the humans love seeing patterns.
Yep.
So when they see patterns and then they just immediately be like, the script's bad, oh, it must be a woman. Because it previously happened before multiple times.
Okay.
And just because that happens does not mean that women are bad writers. Because the most successful movie was it last year? Last year was Barbie, and that was written by women. And it was based and it was debated amongst the feminists about its feminist like messages in that movie. And people were saying like, how can men watch this? Or like, how is this...
I think a lot of men enjoy that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like saying that creativity is only like contained with gender is such an awful thing. If like if it was the opposite, right? If it was the opposite, that imagine if Endgame didn't do well, or Infinity War didn't do well, and then suddenly you're like, the script's bad. Oh, it must be a man. It's the same thing. Just because a pattern exists doesn't mean it can happen again.
True.
And also there's the whole thing of like breaking the cycle. Like, okay, the women in the past didn't do well. So the new generation of girls or women write better scripts. Learn from your mistakes. It's not about gender. It's about, growing as a creative person and knowing your mistakes and learning from them.
I think to me it's not about the creativity, it's more of the self-respect a little bit. Like, they are putting a little bit too much of...
Emphasis?
Not just emphasis, like revealing the, what we call, the body parts a little bit too much. As compared to, some other movies.
This is regarding to...
She-Hulk, like, literally, she was dancing with her ass in front, and
it's like that's like a preference thing.
True.
It's about any movie in general. It's like a. Do you know people like say like if it's bad, is it good bad or is it just boring bad? Like is it still entertaining enough for you to watch it?
To me, She-Hulk is nice.
It's watchable, right?
It's watchable. It's just that I feel a bit sad when I found I didn't know who the writer was actually. It was just that after that there was this uproar on the social media. And, people say that She-Hulk could have been more respected as she's really strong.
Yeah, that's also the issue as well. It's like there's a precedent of what something could be, or like an expectation. When people are given something that is out of their expectations, they revolt against it.
True.
And which is understandable. But it's also like, you know, I mean, if something is bad, then you can just say it's bad.
Yeah.
But then like pertaining to say, oh, it's because the writer is a woman, feels very sexist.
Okay. I agree with that.
Because it doesn't have to be about labels.
True.
Why does it have to be?
Yep. But coming back to modern feminism, right? Since feminism is talking about fighting for equal rights,
Yes.
right? I also think that there is this man versus feminism thing that has been going on, which is what I stand for. Probably we are on different sides, so I'll just tell you my side of the story.
Okay.
Since feminism is fighting for equal rights, so they're supposed to fight for the rights of equality.
They're supposed to fight for the rights of women. Because
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then initially they were saying that they're fighting for the rights of equality. Then after that, we have a lot of men in social services that face a lot of issues, like me. So counseling, counselors, psychologists, caretakers, kindergarten teachers, nursing caretakers, childminders, and a lot of other jobs are being discriminated that men cannot be in this position because men could have raped them, regardless of these children, boys or girls. And even for counseling services, to be honest, for myself, I literally need a CCTV in the room to ensure my safety. To ensure the safety of, how people is not going to misuse the place.
Understand.
Because it happened to me once, I was giving a counseling to a kid, 11 years old boy. It was in a cafe, but there was this separate room. So I rented that room. I was giving counseling to this boy. He took off his pants and he ran out of the room. And literally everyone was looking at me. And luckily, when I was doing that session, my phone was recording. So I have nothing clear. I was like, great, no problem. People saw this video, they're like, oh, he suddenly took off his pants and he ran out. But imagine if the video is not there.
I guess you can argue that if in your position, in that specific situation, if it was a woman, then they would believe, if there's no video evidence whatsoever,
they would still believe
they would believe the woman more than they would believe a man. Is what you're trying to prove, right? Yeah.
So it's like, we have a lot of things that we can't do, even though we are clear of it. We are good with that. So even like nursing, whenever people say Missy, that means lady. But nowadays the industry grow, there are a lot of male nurses around. It's just that it's still inconvenient that male nurses are working in female wards. Because people are acceptable for female nurses to work in male wards, but not vice versa.
I think it's more deeper than it is, because I know it's like, oh, everyone's a stereotype against the men and stuff like that.
True.
But then it's like, as a woman, as a little girl, we've been brought up saying, beware of men. That's the reason the whole fear of men came. Yeah. How I got my fear of men was not, I'm not blaming my parents at all. Because it could also be just some sort of psychological trauma that I don't remember.
True.
Right? But it's different for each woman.
Person.
But from my experience, growing up, we've always been told to beware of men. Beware when you walk alone.
Yeah.
When you go on a public transport and then there's the whole you have to be you've been ingrained since you were young. And you can understand a language to say, be careful of men.
I think it's also the media that shows serial killers and all those things are mostly men.
Also that's also the case that most of the cases that are the convicted serial killers are all men.
Yeah.
So it's again the pattern thing, and your brain just sticks to that pattern, and then it's unfair. I get it. Nursing men in the nursing counseling, it's not fair. Understandable. But you can also see it from the perspective of women for centuries have been killed,
True.
have been
Strangled,
raped, have been for a long time without any voice, any power to fight back.
Yeah.
So understandably so that it is engraved in the society to beware of men in social services.
Yep.
But I get that it's unfair, and I think it is unfair.
Yeah.
And I feel like men should have the opportunity to have those roles as nurturers and caretakers.
Actually, to me, right, it's not just that. I also have something in mind about the modern feminism. A lot of people are fighting for equal pay, fighting for equal position, the ability to be in the board of directors and leadership.
Yeah.
But I also have something in my mind that nobody is fighting for hardcore labor. It's like, whenever there's a hardcore labor, it must be a male. It happened to me in my previous company when I was still working as an admin. Both males and females did a lot. Like we carried the tables, we made the event successful. But when the event ended, right, I told my boss, I said I wanted to take a break the next day. And another lady also said the same thing, but she said it after me. Okay? I was not approved because it is seen that, this kind of labor, male should do it. Female do it, they get tired, they can get a break. This happened like 7 years ago.
See, I can't speak for that because I have no experience in terms of ignoring hardcore labor because I'm a very I grew up with my brothers. I have two older brothers.
Yep.
So I do expect them to do hardcore labor.
Yeah.
But then that's only because they're older than me most of the time.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I want to do it because I know no one else is going to do it.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. For me, that's a personal thing. But in terms of fighting for hardcore labor, I think it's more of opportunity of opening opportunities for labor, for hardcore labor.
Yeah.
And they never choose genders, they just open it out to anybody so anyone can enter. But on the contrary, if you think about higher positions, they discriminate in choosing higher positions based on the gender, if that makes sense. If they want to choose people for hardcore labor, I don't think they would see, this is a woman, we're going to push it to the side.
I think for the one that you said, it's undeniable in a lot of contexts. For example, the country's leadership, you can see the number of females is lesser than males. But we're also undeniable that today a lot of high-ranking positions in a lot of corporates are held by females as well. It's just that probably we couldn't see the balance in different areas because I do have some companies that attach with us. They are literally led by a lot, 100% females, and males rarely can climb up it's like a total opposite.
I understand,
so, it really depends on where we are looking at it sometimes.
It also depends on the courageous personality of people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, because I'm a very take opportunity kind of person.
Yep.
And I always take what's in front of me. Giving a leadership position, sure.
Yeah.
And not many people want to do it actually.
Correct.
Because it's quite intimidating, it's a high responsibility, and it doesn't help that the connotations of the foundations of being a leader is that you are up against men, especially for women. So it's a more burden in that regard to stand out from your peers, not just other women but also men.
Yeah.
And it's a more harder decision to make for women to step up and become leaders because of that past underlying all men are leaders kind of thing.
Actually, I do think that modern feminism need to shift in their paradigm in certain contexts. Because according to our country's PTPTN receiver of those that do not need to pay back, females are standing at a more position. But sadly, we couldn't retain the talents in a better context, and a lot of them ended in a very sad condition. So I do know some of the colleagues of mine in the past, they finished their Masters of Clinical Psychology and right now they're housewives. They literally scored very well and they are now housewives. I think it is also known in our country that we do have certain funded so-called genius that being sent abroad and they ended up as sex workers and things like that. It is really sad that we couldn't do anything about that in modern feminism movement, and I think that is something that we need to shift in paradigm. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think that's like probably there's a deeper and issue with that, because clearly there was opportunity,
Yep.
but then there was no follow-up.
Yeah.
Right.
And then people ended up in such a bad state.
It could be a lot of reasons, and if there's a statistics for it, then there has to be like researched even further and see what is actually the core problem of like the shift.
Agree. Yeah. So I think we covered pretty well for our modern feminism topic today. And of course, thank you so much to our audience for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe and comment your personal opinion or experiences. And we thank Maya very much for coming up here for our Modern Feminism podcast. In our next upcoming podcast, we're going to discuss the total opposite. So,
wait, reminder, don't fight in the comments. It's a discussion.
It's a discussion.
It's a discussion.
Not a war.
Yes.
Every single opinion is respected.
Yes.
So until our next episode that we are going to discuss something totally opposite, we see you.